How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up chat? How's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's Tuesday, December 10th, and boy oh boy, were the opportunities great again on the market. You had stocks moving across the place. You had Palantir giving you a day 2 short. I talked about the day 2 short, right? We talked about the day 2 short, how there could be a potential bounce to the upside off the open. The stock could reject from previous day VWAP and all the potential levels to keep an eye on. And Palantir set up exactly as planned, so that's awesome. We had a bunch of other trades set up too. I'm trying to think about one of the stocks that we didn't even plan but had news. It was one of the Mag 7 stocks, Google. Google made a pretty good bounce to the north side in pre-market. That gave you a good trade opportunity. I'm trying to think about what other stocks moved today. You had MongoDB that got sold off. You had AI that ran insanely to the north side, Tesla. So lots of opportunities. Some of them that we planned for, and they played out exactly picture perfect to the plan, which was great. And then some of them that we did not plan for, but they also gave you great opportunities to make some money on. So hopefully you guys killed it. But for tomorrow, that's what the stream is about. Planning for tomorrow, planning for what are all the potential opportunities that we can take advantage of, make some money, and see where the easy money trades are. So let's head over to the full screen. I have a nice watch list ready for you guys already. Before we do that, I think let me say hello to the viewers. I got Ani, Dieter, TH, Barky. Barky wants me to take a look at Uber, GM, MongoDB for sure. We'll take a look at that. I go buy a gun right now. What? Why'd you say that, Dieter? You guys ready to be a part of the United States? Oh, okay, that's why. Because Ani said, are you guys ready to be a part of the United States? I guess we've always been, we've always been the greater United States. If you think about it, the outside of United States is basically the greater United States. That's basically what Mexico and Canada is. Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's go to the full screen, talk about all the things in store for tonight. Here's the the earnings board, we got stocks like GME, Stitch Fix, Dave and Buster's, PLAY, that's the ticker. Moving around in the after hours, obviously some of the names that moved around yesterday after hours and maybe today pre-market, but as I mentioned, none of the ones in pre-market really mattered for me, and it was exactly as I predicted. None of the stocks over here mattered at all. So we got AI, Oracle, MongoDB, GameStop, Stitch Fix, Play, and then Macy's. That's basically from the earnings catalyst, and then some of the other movers that you know, went back and forth based on their own separate news catalyst or own separate news catalyst, basically, such as QURE, nice little squeeze to the upside. You got NAMS, another nice mover to the upside. X getting banned for the what, 17th millionth time right now for United States Steels, about that deal getting banned by Biden administration. So we know it's gonna happen. It just, you know, just do it already. Just saying every single time that you're gonna stop it from happening, the stock goes down and then it pops back up. Your stock goes down and it pops back up. So do something about it already. Stop saying the same thing again and again. You know, it's getting pretty boring over here with the United States deal, or United States Steels deal. And then you got mRNA making a nice move to the downside, back into a channel where I'm very interested to see if mRNA could set up for a good short opportunity. So a bunch of companies on the watch list. Let's head over to some of them. That main one on the watch list that reported earnings today is obviously GME. That's what the YouTube thumbnail is based on. So you kind of have an idea of what GME did. If you saw the thumbnail, GME basically up very slightly in the after hours. It started off the day going to the downside off the earnings report, but then a full 180 back to the upside. What is this? Is this a previous earnings anchored VWAP? Most likely is not. It's a more recent anchored VWAP. Oh yeah, this was, I remember why. I can delete it. It's irrelevant at this point. So this is the ER anchored VWAP. We got that one already going. Very interested to see how you know, GME sets up tomorrow in the pre-market. Before we do that, let's head over to Benzinga, my favorite tool to go read earnings reports on. Let's go see how GME reported today. Are they still sitting on $1 billion in cash and so on? GME reported third quarter, 860 million in net sales, down from same period last year of $1 billion. Missing estimates of 887 million. So missing estimates, same period last year was $1 billion. They missed it. They are, so basically are declining in growth year-to-year basis. Sales broken down by segment: hardware and accessories, same period last year lower. Software, what software does GME sell? What? Okay, software revenue lower. Collectibles lower, but not as much lower compared to the other ones. So collectibles, they're still kind of on pace with that numbers over there. Not really, because they're not growing, but still kind of on pace. All three segments saw year-over-year sales declines. The company reported net income of 17.4 million in the third quarter versus a net loss of 3.1 million in the last year's third quarter. So I guess that's a little bit better. GME reported adjusted earnings per share of 6 cents. Can I see estimates? I don't see the estimates, so let me just quickly check what is on TradingView. TradingView says they were expected to lose 3 cents per share. Instead, they reported 6 cents per share profit. So that's a 300% reversal, 300% surprise on EPS. The company ended third quarter with cash and equivalents of $4 billion. I like to see that. The company completed a previous disclosed at the market equity offering that has aggregate proceeds of $400 million. The company does not anticipate any further at the market offerings. Following a trend from recent quarters, GameStop said it will not be holding a third quarter conference call. Investors and analysts continue to look for answers to how the company will spend its cash balance. You know, they got a lot of money. How are they going to put it to work? and what the direction of the company looks like going forward. At the time of the report, stock did make a little bit of a pop up, then it made a move back lower, then it went back higher and making a little tick of $31 and then flushing back into today's ranges. So lots of choppy action, clearly very much reminiscent of you know, what AI did today off of its earnings report, or should I say last night. My charts are a little slow today, so you have to bear with me. I don't know if it's TradingView or my internet, but very close to what AI did. AI made a pop and then sold right back, and then AI today, however, beautiful rally back up. If you look at AI's candle on the daily chart, that's a straight up FU shorts candle. Anyone who went short on AI last overnight off the earnings report, anyone who went short in these areas, and if they didn't get stopped out already, they are all very much upset at the moment, seeing how volatile and crazy the stock was today. What an insane move on C3 AI. Anyways, come back to GME, which is the stock on hand. We're talking about possible trade opportunities on this stock, and I think based on the earnings report, look, you're not growing at all. Yeah, you reported 6 cents per share compared to losing 3 cents per share. That's okay, that's not bad, but overall the report does not look great to me. So I'm expecting a move back down on GME. Any pops, I'm ideally looking for a short. Let's also quickly head over to take a look at what GME's current short float is. Is it still in the red? And it's not anymore. Now it's at, well, they will say that it is you know, manipulated, it's a scam, it's a lie, it's not really 820, it's still 100%. The shorts haven't covered yet and all the other nonsense, but the GME 8.20 is the most recent short float number that we have. And PE, however, as you can see, is 208. So the stock is very expensive. Price to earnings ratio, very expensive. And if you ask me, I'm, as a day trader, looking to short the pops mainly until or unless the stock can get above $32 and show me buying above 32. So any pop into 32 and reject, it could be 32, it could be below 32, anywhere from wherever the stock is currently up to $32. I'm interested to see when it stalls out on a pop so I can get short. GME just does not scream long to me at all. This screams like an absolute fader on any pops, and especially if tomorrow it gets sold off and opens much lower than today's low. Let's say it opens into the lower range of the after hour low that we just made, somewhere into 25.50 to 26.50 area. If it trades in this area, that just confirms my theory even more to look for the short tomorrow on GME. So right now, with how the stock is played out, I don't really have any levels that I want to keep on watch, other than the fact that the resistance around $32. I don't think we see that 32 area coming back into play tomorrow, but if it do, I'll kick rocks. If it does go back into 32, I'll kick rocks. I won't go long. I'll kick rocks for the long trade, but I'll wait patiently to see if the stock can stall out into $32 for me to go short. So priority, low priority, not low, I'll say orange priority. I'm not gonna give GME a purple priority because I was expecting a better earnings report. I was expecting nice beats coming across the board, so not really interested to trade this stock extremely active. I'm interested to trade it, but I'll be very passive. I'll slowly bid into my longs if I'm looking long. If I'll slowly offer into the ask if I'm looking short, and I'll play passively, but I won't be aggressive when I trade the stock. Usually when you're trading GME, AMC makes a little bit of a sympathy move. So if you're looking to fade a stock based on GME's pop, I think AMC will be the easy fade if it has a pop. If it has a pop tomorrow, right now in the after hour, looks like it had a very minute pop, which got stuffed back down from the 5-day moving average. So very minute pop over here on AMC. But if GME, like I said, if it goes to 32 tomorrow, AMC potentially gets rallied to the upside in the pre-market along with it. And not only am I looking short GME, I'm also looking AMC, but I'm also looking heavier short AMC than I am looking GME, because this one is just making a sympathy pop and it will get absolutely slammed back down going into the close. So that will be a very big opportunity to keep an eye on. But criterias need to match for all of these, which is the stock needs to have volume, GME needs to have volume, GME looks to be up into $32, and all the other beautiful scenarios that I kind of just laid out for you. The next stock on hand over here, Stitch Fix, SFIX. Nice little breakout. Look at these charts, it's so slow today. Nice little breakout off the daily chart over here on Stitch Fix above $5. You got a couple more levels above 5. You got this little peak high into $6. You got 520 as an area, you got 550 as an area, but I'm just gonna use the straight up even dollar prices, $5, 550, and then $6 area to keep an eye on to see how the stock behaves on pops. I think we kind of made a run into $6. There you go. So if you see in the after hours, it actually broke $6, came back and basically started holding around 550, which is where the earnings anchored VWAP ended up flatlining into. So we'll be interested to see if the stock can find buying on dips to the downside. This is a growth company, a smaller company, a growth company, and if they are getting ready to start having a little bit of a reversal, this would be the ideal candidate for us to look for the money trade. The money trade question mark. So for that, the setup needs to be the stock opens up somewhere here in the pre-market and trades in the higher end of the after hour range in the pre-market, and then going into the open, the stock breaks out of the pre-market high and the after hour high, and then just makes a clean run to the upside. But for all of that, the theory needs to actually align along with the earnings report. So let's go see if the earnings report for Stitch Fix kind of spells something different. What do you got for us, Benzinga? Coming up with the earnings report, beat by 62%, reporting a loss of 5 cents compared to a loss of 13 cents. Revenue was down 45.97 million from same period last year. So a little bit of 50 million less revenue from same period last year. That doesn't sound like a good news to me. Company missed EPS by 1 penny in the previous quarter, leading to a 39% drop. Is this the most recent one? To the next day. The most recent earnings report? Are they talking about the previous? Okay, previous performance. Okay, thank you. Here's a look at Stitch Fix past performance. Loss of 23 cents, that's EPS, sorry, loss of 30 cents, they were expected 23, expected loss of 20, they lost 29, expected loss of 23, they lost 18, expected loss of 19, they lost 29, this time they were expected to lose 13, they lost 5. So a little bit better in this quarter. I guess that could be seen as a bullish sentiment maybe, but they're not growing year over year. So for a growth company, if you're not growing year over year, you know, there's always questions that you have to ask. SFIX, what is your float? 96 million, 7% short float, 583 million market cap, no PE at all, so obviously not positive, they're losing money, EPS and so on. But small cap, very small cap. Floats also pretty low. So if shorts are trapped, it's only got a 7% short flow. But if shorts get trapped tomorrow on this pop, I think this one could be fireworks to keep an eye on for the long side. So dip buys into 5 and a hold above 5. I think you're gonna move into 550. 550 will be the inflection level for me, and then anything above 6, if the stock can break out above 6 and hold above 6, I think that just makes the stock a way higher priority to keep an eye on tomorrow. Next up, PLAY, play Dave and Buster's. So Dave and Buster's, a little bit of a move to the south side over here off the earnings report. Let's see where these numbers coming into play. Ooh, did we go all the way back down there? Really? Fine. Magnet. Come on, magnet. Behave. So we did get below 33, which was one of the levels that I just marked, the most recent pivot low before the stock started to move back lower and then report earnings. So getting back below this low and staying below this low is pretty bearish. That's going to be your pivot marker, right? That's going to be your marker that's going to dictate if you're going to be going short or if you're going to look long. If the stock is holding above 33 tomorrow, you're not looking short at all. But if the stock is not above 33 and rejecting 33.50, which is where the earnings VWAP is, and staying below 33 tomorrow off the open, at that point you're just looking to short any pops. Every single pop you're just looking to short. The stock has only a $2 ATR, so maybe we get lucky and get a $3 ATR tomorrow, and that stock actually breaks down into 30 bucks or even $29, or and you know, things get a little bit juicy. But keep in mind the ATR is only 2. Relative volume needs to increase. Looks like we did get a little bit of a volume spike in the after hours, so that is in the positive catalyst to look for as a day trade. So we'll be watching to see if 33 is a barrier or a support wall. So that's the only thing that mattered to me. Let's actually also go see what bar charts is saying. That's actually, I need to be doing this more. These are options call walls, so you can see where most of the options are situated right now on PLAY. This is obviously before earnings report. I don't know if this is updated live or I don't know if this is updated live or not. What is this? Anyways, but you can see that there is a call wall at 35. Now bear with me because I don't really know how to fully use this. I'm new to this, right? I'm just learning how to use this. But there's a call wall at 40. And there's a smaller call wall at 35. Now, obviously, the stock is below that in the after hours. We're around $30 or so. So anyone below this area is going to have to hedge themselves. And the fact that the stock is below 35, that just might bring a little bit more bearishness. But isn't that put wall? See, I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this. So, you know, just keep an eye for gamma exposure by strike price, and you'll see where potentially tomorrow we'll see if these areas start to update a little bit, and then I'll know if it updates daily or if it updates hourly or so on. You know, it'll be nice to see how frequently this website updates. Just wanted to see what would it look like for PLAY, but the stock is already well below the levels, and the levels that I have on watch are the only levels I care about. All right, M, if I remember, recently has been on a run up. Yeah, there you go. It has been on a run up, and it's actually holding fairly well above 1650. So holding fairly well above 1650 with its earnings report tomorrow pre-market might be something to keep an eye on. If M breaks out above 17 and is holding above 17, I think it's a no-brainer long on the dips at that point. But if the stock is you know, clearly under these areas again and starts to trade lower, then you're just looking short on pops. But at that point, am I even interested to keep an eye on M? I'm potentially keeping an eye on something else. There's way better stocks that I can look to short. Probably a small cap stock, probably you know, MongoDB as a day 2 short, probably Palantir as a day 3 short. So there's so many other opportunities that I can keep an eye on if I want to look for a short. So Macy's on the short side, priority very, very low. But on the long side, if we're above 17 and holding above 17, very, very high. C3AI. The next stock on board reported earnings today at after hours. yesterday after reporting sold off, but then a full reversal right back to the north side. So insane reversal back up over here on C3AI. Will be interesting to see how the stock sets up tomorrow. I think these levels right here, which is $40, simple and easy 40. You can see how it held 40 over here also after the opening drive breakout and so on. Will be interesting to see if 40 actually holds. If it does, I think there is a long tomorrow. 40 will be right here. That's one of the most recent highs that we were all possibly expecting for the stock to hold. 40 will be a very, very important level to see if the stock can hold above. If it cannot, then I think it's a wrap for the stock. For the at least tomorrow intraday long, it's a wrap. Because it could just chop around. It could just chop around with the big candle leg today. It's going to have an inside day most likely tomorrow. And you know, trap people on both sides like Palantir has done recently. But if it doesn't, if it holds 40 cleanly and gives us a good opportunity, then I think 45, expecting 45 is not out of the ballpark. Expecting 45 as a target is not out of the ballpark. 43... 100%, 45, 60%. So we'll be watching to see how the stock sets up if we can hold 40. Please, God, give us a long off of 40. Oracle. Oracle actually did what we said it should do. Reject in this purple area, purple rain. So rejecting in the purple box over here, and basically giving you a little bit of a short opportunity. I, however, was looking for the stock for a long multiple times in the day. I think I did get long multiple times and scalp it for a quick little profit right here. I got long on that dip into the opening range high. Once it started holding the opening range high, I got long, risked that low. That low never broke. We pushed back into the day high, and the stock stalled off into the day's high, so I took profits and I walked away from it. However, had I just stuck to my original game plan, you got the double top, reject, and a push back down to VWAP. A way better risk to reward trade, a way higher EV setup, and a bigger reward being given out for a plan that I planned last night. So sometimes this goes to show, stick to your game plans, Prad. Don't make up new plans out of the thin air. So Oracle, however, yeah, today did give you some opportunities. I'm not really too interested for opportunities tomorrow unless the stock gives me a short into 179, 180, basically the same area again. If we can pop into these area highs, 177 to 180, and show me a reject in those areas, I am very much interested to look for a short on the pops on Oracle. If we're holding above it, there's no more short, okay? Just no more short. MongoDB, man, destroyed today. I was so bullish off their report. Everything looked so good off the report for MongoDB. But the big move down, I guess all that matters is, you know, the what is it, the PE, which was, I guess, fairly expensive for MongoDB, or they don't even have a PE if I remember correctly, but forward PE for MongoDB still fairly expensive, 360 and so on. My leg is so itchy, chat. Okay, so a little bit of a big smackdown today, $290. Wow, just kept going lower and lower. So if this stock pops into 300, into 305, shout out to Miami 305, shout out to my boy, a second, let me call her. Shout out to my boy Laced Up Souls, Mikey. Boy, oh boy, he got into a bad accident. Thankfully, his family's safe. That boy can't catch a break. That boy cannot catch a break. Oh my goodness. God needs to stop fucking with my boy, honestly. 312.50 is the earnings anchored VWAP. Yesterday's, or should I say today's VWAP 305. We got the 300 even dollar area. So we got a couple areas over here to keep an eye on for potential shorts on pops on MongoDB. But if you are looking for a long, then ideally the stock should not go much lower than today's low. If it keeps going lower than today's low, then I don't know where the next stop is. Like, your guess is as good as mine in this area. There's a 200-day moving average average. I am not looking short in this area. The stock needs to pop and reject into earnings VWAP, into today's VWAP for me to look short. I'm not going to look short below today's low, because right below today's low is basically the 200-day moving average, the 250-day moving average, and all kinds of longer term moving averages after a stock just reported a decent earnings report. So I'm not going to look for that short side at all. Palantir gave you a day 2 short, exactly as planned, and this is also a setup that Diter trade. So it rejected the 5-day moving average, rejected the pop into yesterday's VWAP, and then just set up for a beautiful day 2 opportunity back into yesterday's low, a little bit below yesterday's low also, and giving you a move down. Hey Diter, if you're watching, you recognize this indicator? I bet you do, huh? Yeah, I added it. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I think they use histograms, but I'm gonna use line because I'm not a fan of histograms as much. All right, so Palantir making that pop, rejecting, selling off. Nice little Diter setup over here. And if you look at it on the 5-minute, also had a little bit of an imperfect head and shoulders, and then a VWAP continuation trade that you could have also jumped into. So a bunch of opportunities. All you had to do was watch the right names, right? Watch the right names and be patient, because one stock can give you multiple opportunities if you're watching it. First opportunity here, second opportunity here. Okay, multiple opportunities, and I still keep looking here because the camera's here. All right, tomorrow, ideally, same situation. Pops into today's VWAP. The 5-day moving average also comes into the same area and sets up for a very similar situation. So for resistance, I'm typing yesterday's VWAP of 73. And then above that, I'm looking for 75, where we basically topped out into 75 to 75.50. Okay, as for the support, $70. Keep it simple. I think there is a level below 70, which is 69, but keep it simple. 70, right? Was it 69 or is it 67? 60, 68, 69, same shit, but I'll keep it simple. 70. SOUN. Let's go to SOUN. As expected, you know, very indecisive day today. It chopped back and forth. It went higher, almost to 16. It went lower, broke below 14 into the end of the day. So very choppy, very back and forth. Trapping positions everywhere, but eventually clearing out some longs and then flushing back down. So I would say the bottom's not in yet. Until 13 breaks on SOUN, the bottom's not really in, or sorry, the top's not really in, but keep an eye on it. 13 can give you a dip by tomorrow back into a 14, 15, 16 ranges, and a sell and a reject into 16, a reject into 18 will be something to keep an eye on. Right now the range is a little wild, so you want to be very careful trading the stock for sure, but the priority is pretty high when keeping an eye on SOUN. The opportunities have been there, but you just need to tough it out. You need to tough that position out a little bit. Roblox, if 55 holds, I think there could be a long, but the volume dying down, so not as excited to keep an eye on Roblox. APP, so looks like the backside could potentially start setting in right now. We're also pulling into the earnings anchored VWAP, so I'm not looking for a heavy short into the downside unless the stock pops and rejects on pops, but also volume is dying down. I think there's way better opportunities to trade tomorrow than APP. Unless it pops and gives you shorts on pops, then potentially there's a trade, but I think there's, like I said, just better opportunities tomorrow. PayPal, big sell-off on PayPal over here. If PayPal gets below this weekly, let's just get rid of that line real quick. We don't need that anymore. Where is it? Where are my? There we go. Turn that bad boy on. So this is last month's, right, not weekly. The last month's high of 88.70, and if we start staying below 89.88 on tomorrow's move down, I think PayPal, no matter how good the upgrade was and how good all these news catalysts have been, the stock is going to break down tomorrow and set up for a big short. But if the stock is holding above 90, then I think you can easily look long. You can see how PayPal actually rejected off of 90 beautifully today, giving you that short after a nice pop off the open. Sold off the open, popped into 90, rejected 90 cleanly, and then sold off. 90 was also today's open. So multiple reasons to look for a short today's open. Psychological level, multiple time frame level, is this Mamma Mia level right there. Lululemon, huh? Gave you a good short today, but what about a trade for tomorrow? Volume dying down. I might not really keep that close of an eye on Lululemon tomorrow. I'll be honest. It'll be in the background as I'm cycling through stocks, and if I find a trade randomly, I might jump on with very little size. But I'm not that interested to trade Lululemon tomorrow. Very low volume now. The day one, day two is over. It's the fun in those names are over. SMCI, good short opportunity today from the 44 area, 45 area, if you're watching it off the open, but I think there were other opportunities off the open that people like myself would have been distracted by, so I didn't really watch SMCI. Right now, if you look at it, you know, it's just kind of creating a little bit of a contraction range, bouncing off of the 9 EMA on the daily chart. I'm not too sure what I want to do with those levels. My personal bias says be careful because look, the 10K filing is not in yet. Yeah, they reported that they have an extension, but we still don't know if they're a fraud or not. So all kinds of the weirdness in this company still. They had a good catalyst recently. I'm not sure. Look, I'm not sure what I want to do. So when in doubt, stay the fuck out, right? So I'm in doubt with what I want to do with SMCI. I think one thing which is a very simple trade, which is look for a short on the pop. Look for a short on the pop on SMCI on a 5-minute chart pattern, and then if that sets up, you got to trade. And if that doesn't set up, maybe just stay away from it. There's a stock over here, NAMS, N-A-M-S, making a nice pop into a daily level, and not too far above it is the all-time high into, come on, into $32.88. A recent IPO. I guess it's a SPAC that reverse mergered on the day of its merger. It made an insane pop and then sold right off on that very same day. Chop back and forth, started to now create a little bit of a range higher, and now today with its catalyst, the stock has basically put in a day one move in the pre-market, and surprisingly enough, you can see how you could say trapped a lot of shorts. You could say trapped a lot of shorts off of today's move. So if people are trapped over here on the short side, if the stock starts to pop higher in the pre-market, the higher we go, the more fun I think we can have on this name. However, this is not as small cap as Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix's was a 500 million market cap. This one's a 2 billion market cap, so a little bit of a bigger company. I think the float's also bigger than Stitch Fix and so on, so somewhat of a legitimate company compared to Stitch Fix, but the idea is still the same. I think if the stock starts to go parabolic, I'm going to look more for the short as a day trade, because it's going to be hard looking for a long. But if the stock is holding well above 26.35 in the pre-market, not into $33 tomorrow, I'm very interested to look for a long into $33, because I think this is getting ready to trap some shorts tomorrow. So any move above 26.50 and hold above 26.50, I'm rolling the dice for a long, right? I'm rolling the dice for a long, but a reject of this level, then I'm rolling a dice for a short. Pretty easy trade. mRNA, if you look at Moderna on the daily chart, it's picking up a little bit of a volume with today's news catalyst. And also on the daily chart, we got a nice level to keep an eye on. Today's low 41, that previous consolidation low 41.40. Today could be a false breakout, meaning the stock starts to hold above 41 tomorrow and doesn't really have a breakdown. But let's give you another scenario where the stock actually holds below 41 tomorrow off the open in pre-market. On pops, it rejects 41. On pops, it rejects 40. Not even 41, it rejects 40 on pops. I think there's an easy short to the downside all the way back to $35 off of the most recent news catalyst. If the news catalyst is not that bearish and not strong enough, then the stock should easily hold above 40, easily hold above 41, and bounce right back. Okay, so simple scenario, very, very simple trade. I don't care about any other scenario other than that. Either you're holding below 41 and you're giving me a short, and then you're letting me add more size on the breakdown below 40, or you're staying above 40. I'm going to jump out from my short from 41 at that point and take a quick dollar per share profit, and then I'm going to look for some other stock to trade instead. So very simple opportunities over there to keep an eye on. MicroStrategy holding off into the most recent consolidation areas. However, Coinbase gave you a beautiful short today and a monster long also. So Coinbase gave you a beautiful short and a monster long as Bitcoin was moving lower. So I took advantage of both of that. I took advantage of the short on Coinbase. I took the advantage of the long on Bitcoin. And wow, look at that. Looks like this, oh, actually this one's getting lower. Maybe that means, it's getting ready to break down. Maybe that means Bitcoin's getting ready to break down over here. Hey Dieter, is that what that means? Still learning how to use this new indicator that SMB Capital just recently posted a video about. Okay, Bitcoin. So MSTR, SMST, Coin, CONL, IBIT, those are the names that I'll be watching to trade the Bitcoin sector. You guys know that. I'm going to move past that because those are pretty simple ideas. As long as Bitcoin is moving around, I'm going to be watching what these stocks are doing, and I'm going to jump in on those trades. Now I'm going to take a look at IBIT, sorry, not IBIT, IONQ. IONQ, you could say day two. It did the exact same thing Palantir again, right? If you look at how the stock set up, it did the exact same thing as Palantir, popped into the 5-day moving average, popped into previous day VWAP, rejected that whole area, gave you a triple top on the 5-minute chart, and then sold right off to the downside. I bet you if I turned on my chart pattern indicator, it really didn't recognize that as a triple top. I guess not. That's weird. I would have at least seen that as a double top, if not as a triple top. That's pretty weird. Anyways, doesn't matter. The point is, bigger technical trade setup, which is rejecting the previous day VWAP, rejecting the 5-day moving average, and selling back down. That cross right there is a beautiful opportunity to get short with risk above that day high, and then another opportunity again to get short, move right back into lower day. So similar idea. If the stock can pop into Monday's low, where today's VWAP is 34 to 34.50 for IONQ, and stay below that, I'm looking to short the pops into 34 to 34.50 area and look for that 3rd day reversal. Keep in mind 2 days of move lower have already played out. I'm not really expecting a bigger move lower, but if it happens, because these stocks are a little extended, they're a little parabolic, the 20-day moving average is at $30. It has never really tested the 20-day moving average until now, so if we do go down there, it kind of makes sense that it goes down there. So if the stock actually gives you a pop into 34.50 to short into, and a breakdown below today's low, that just opens up a good move down for us to take advantage in. So keep an eye for this stock to see how it behaves. Another one in the same realm is RGTI, which is a quantum computing. Let me move that one right next to Ion Q. RGTI, pretty sure this one's in the quantum computing space, is going crazy. Good move to the upside, gave you a decent breakout later on in the day with volume behind it. Monster volume breakout later on in the day off the $6 and just going higher and higher. I mean, this is just what's going on right now. The bubble, you could say, is kind of going crazy, right? You got quantum bubble, you got the AI bubble, you got the crypto bubble. So the stock market bubble just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, as one domino falls, all dominoes start to fall along with it. So we'll be watching carefully how it happens. But the RGTI monster move, you can see how after hours it actually went all the way into $8. If you zoom out on the monthly chart, on the yearly chart, the stock has not much higher than 8, right? We got the all-time high into $13. So $8, yeah, but I could see the stock easily going into 13, into 15 tomorrow pre-market, and then setting up for a bigger mean reversion short tomorrow. So watching how RGTI sets up for a monster short. If it does pop higher and higher and higher, this one, whew, I think the mean reversion short is going to be insane on this one. QMCO did great today. Let's go check out that one on the daily real quick. Very light volume, but it did do very good. Yes, did do pretty decent. This could be also a stock that could be on the candidate of watch for a mean reversion. But as the sector is hot at the moment, you want to be careful, right? Once the sector is hot, they could all start dragging each other to the upside, and you could get burned trying to short them. So just be careful. Wait for actual backside to show up. Boeing with the nice little breakout today above 160. If Boeing can actually pull back and hold above 160 on any dips, I think there could be a long. But besides that, I'm not too interested to trade Boeing. If it does give me a dip buy into 160, I think they had some sort of a decent catalyst today that took the stock higher. Actually, the catalyst was they delivered less planes than previously. Okay, the max production restart seems to have done it. Production ramp proceeds to a much bigger deal. Production was paused for 12 months because of 7-week labor strike. Okay, so that was the news catalyst. So labor strikes ending, production's going back. The news is hitting. The news is hitting the wires at the moment. So if the stock can, pull back into 160 and hold above 160, I think there's an easy long over there for us to look for. Other than that, I'm not too excited to trade Boeing. I think when you got stocks like RGTI, IonQ, Palantir, NAMS, Boeing just kind of goes into the really back tiers of my watch list. However, I did give it a respective orange tier, which is mid-tier priority respect on my watch list. There are some stocks over here that I don't even give that respect sometimes. So I did give it that respect. Google potentially going into all-time high here. Big breakout on Google as they are investing in quantum computing and more AI stuff. Google with a nice breakout and a hold on the dip into the previous level highs, and gave you a monster long. I took this long off the open. I actually had a good open off Google today. So Google, you're watching on any dips to see how this stock reacts. It was very weak later on in the day. You could blame the market for that, but right after that weakness, a monster reversal on Google for the long side. So interested to see how this one behaves on the dip. 184 is today's VWAP. So if we can hold today's VWAP, you can look at today as day one of the breakout, and any hold above 184 potentially gives you a decent long back into today's high, and then maybe even a higher chance above today's high into the all-time high. Now if the stock gaps higher and opens up into the all-time high, that kind of changes the situation a little bit, and I think I'm going to look for a failed breakout of all-time high to look short, or a breakout of all-time high to look long, and then quickly scalp out of the long if it looks weak above the all-time high, and then flip short. So a bunch of scenarios over there with how I'm going to attack with that level on the north side. Nvidia and the other semiconductor stocks were fairly weak today. Nvidia actually sold off fairly well and moving back into a major level, I would say, which was the 132 level, 131.80, 132. So important to see how the stock reacts into this price point. If it gets below this price point, I think forget 130. I think it blows below 130 and then just trickles much lower. But if it goes into this level, actually I won't say that. I think you should give respect to that psychological 130 area, because people could just have a size at 130 instead of 132, and no one's obligated to buy 132. You know, at the same time, no one's obligated to buy 130. But it's just a psychological nature of the stock market, psychological nature of the people trading the market, which is humans. Yes, AI too, but also that was AIs, and the algos are coded by humans. So the nature of that, I think you might see more size on the bid at 130 instead of 132. So you could wait to see if 130 breaks for a bigger short setup on Nvidia, and if that actually sets up, I think monster weakness opening up over here across the board on the semiconductor sector. Nvidia, AMD over here breaking lower. AVGO, I didn't actually take a look at the stock. Oh, big move down on AVGO. That looks like a good breakdown opportunity below 170. Also, if it starts to find some weakness below 170. TSM, oh man, I even had that level marked up like basically yesterday, 198. Let's see how the stock played out. Oh, what a great short on TSM there. Look at that, broke below, came back, rejected that level perfectly, and then sold off, and actually held above that level too off the open. Mamma mia, what a beautiful trade. Missed out on that one on Taiwan Semiconductors. When you get a good hold like that, and then the chart just sets up on the 5-minute chart too for taking a trade, you take advantage of setups like that, people, right? You take advantage of setups like that. So big sell-off opportunity on semiconductors today. I wasn't expecting that, so I actually didn't catch that move. I don't, however, think we see a bigger sell-off tomorrow on the semiconductors. I think this will cool off into 130. So ideally looking for a little bit of a long opportunity on Nvidia once we go down. But if we get below this area, 130, 132, expect bigger move lower, and fireworks to open up on these stocks. Microsoft 450 didn't really give us the short, almost gave us the short. They were 40 cents away from going into 450 and seeing how that sets up. But if 450 comes into play tomorrow, I'll be interested to see if that is a trade to keep an eye on. I need to throw an alert again on Microsoft just in case it pushes back here. Thank you. Let me also set an alert on Nvidia while I'm at it. Okay. Okay, Meta. I don't think Meta is in play at the moment, so probably not doing anything unless market goes higher and Meta breaks out of 630, potentially a trade. But if 630 gives you more, potentially I'll take a short first, depending on how the stock goes into 630. If 630 gives you a short, then I'll potentially take the short first and then flip long. It all depends on how the stock goes into 630. Is the market strong and all other reasons and so on. So that's a question on its own. Amazon, day 2 of a short today, basically. 230 never really came into play, but you can look at Amazon kind of set up as Palantir again, exact same setup, right? Going into previous day, VWAP tried to hold above it, failed to hold above it, and then just started leaking right back to the downside. You can call it a mean reversion. This could be a little overextended. You can call it mean reversion day 2, but I wouldn't really call it mean reversion day 2. I would just call it anchor VWAP day 2 or a day 2 VWAP trade over here on Amazon. Potentially tomorrow we get set up another trade exactly like that on any weakness on Amazon back to the downside. But ideally, I'm keeping an eye on to see how 230 sets up. If the stock goes back into 230 tomorrow, same idea. I think looking for a short depending on how it goes there and so on. 250 on Apple, huh? Wow. All these large cap into even dollar prices. I love seeing it. I love seeing it. All of them at the same time. I love it. Give me all of them at the same time. Tesla all-time high, guys. Tesla all-time high is incoming. 420 funding secured. Okay, so you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big seller at 420 just because of that 420 joke. But 420 funding secured. Shout out to Elon Musk. The stock might just open up into all-time high tomorrow and then set up for a short. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, but keep an eye on it. Right, this is going into all-time high at the moment. It is absolutely bonkers. For the first time in a very long time, I've actually had to cover all of the Magnificent 7 stocks as high priority tickers for tomorrow. High priority tickers for tomorrow. For the first time in a very long time, if the stock actually go into these levels, right? If they go into those levels. If they don't, then I don't care what they do at all. I don't care what they do. QURE. This one made a monster move today. Good long setup too, but you know, I tricked myself and I went short instead. This was a monster long setup that I should have taken. You know, this hold right here is what told me that the long was brewing, and boy oh boy, that long was monstrous. A big long on QURE. I've been seeing these type of moves a lot recently, a lot on small cap stocks. For example, exact same setup over here on GXAI yesterday, right? Exact same setup on GXAI yesterday. Just holds pre-market levels way too well, holds yesterday's high also, and then just breaks out. What an easy trade. Oh, okay. Like, what an easy trade right there at that time of day right there. Volume coming in. Same setup again today. Volume coming in. Day 2 setup ideally. Also breaking out right at today's view or yesterday's VWAP, right? So it's like, God, right? Like, I need to keep an eye on these small cap stocks more again. I was for a little while, but I got distracted by all these big cap stocks, earnings reports, and so on. But small caps are, you know, there's a good setup over here for us to take advantage of. QBTS, another small quantum name potentially to keep an eye on. This one, if it starts to hold above 550, that's a big hammer candle. So probably not much upside left on this stock. You know, you could look at more downside potentially incoming, especially if it starts to get below 450. But if the stock actually starts to trade higher, you know, keep an eye on QBTS. I'll move it higher into the list of stocks where the quantum computing stocks are, and GXAI and QURE. GXAI actually has been on a little bit of a run up recently, on a heater. GXAI has been on a heater. This one's got a setup for a short very soon. So high priority GXAI, high priority QURE. Both of these small cap stocks I'm watching very closely tomorrow to see how they set up, because if they are trapping more shorts, these ones are going to you know, go parabolic. These ones are going to go absolutely crazy. So I'm watching how these stocks are setting up. NAMS is another one. I think we got a lot of stocks tomorrow to keep an eye on. The watch list is small, but it's very concise and perfect, if you ask me. Very concise and perfect. I love it. So very excited to see what happens tomorrow and how I can make a quick dollar bill, y'all. That, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the stream for today. Let me show you the economic calendar. We got a little bit busier economic calendar tomorrow than today. We got the CPI obviously at 8:30. That's an important number. It hasn't been that important for a really long time, but let's see if it starts to being important again. So CPI at 8:30, 10-year auction note at 1 o'clock. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. You got, that's about it. The core CPI, all that at 8:30. You got 10:30 crude oil numbers, and then at 1 o'clock you got 10-year auction notes. So these are going to be important time periods. The market might be volatile during these times. You want to be careful. The hell? IPO is on Thursday, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. Ooh, we got another. Oh, that's a SPAC. We don't care about that. IPO is on Thursday, so make sure you tune in Wednesday to learn more, which is tomorrow. Learn more about that IPO. Again, reminder that this will be the final week of until this year. Final week of streaming until the year, and I will let you know if I decide if I'm done streaming and if I go to offline mode only or if I do both. What's my future YouTube plans and so on. So all that will be revealed very soon at the start of the new year. I wish you guys a monster day trading opportunity tomorrow. You know, good levels that I've planned out. Take advantage of some of these levels. If you have your own levels, if you have your own plan, make sure you stick to it. Create a plan, stick to it. Don't deviate from it. It's when you start creating plans out of thin air and deviating from your setups and deviating from your plans, that's when shit starts to go crazy and you start to ruin it for yourself. So make a plan, stick to it, and if you make a plan and the stock doesn't set up in that plan, then there is no trade. There is no trade, right? Just stay away from it. There's no point in forcing something that you created a plan for, but it's not actually setting up that way. So always got to keep that also in the back of your head. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to roll in the outro. It's your boy TraderPrad. I'll catch you guys tomorrow and then Thursday for the last 2 episodes of this week. I'm out. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.